Good afternoon. Welcome to this first webinar of the IIoTSBOM activities. My name is Ulrich Seldeslachts. I'm the Managing Director of an association called LSEC. And we have basically started this activity because of the fact that we see that there's quite a lot of challenges in the world of supply chain cybersecurity. And over the course of the last couple of years, I would say, we've seen there's quite a significant uptake of adversaries trying to abuse that supply chain. One of the more significant ways that has happened in the last year on doing this, apart from the very different ransomware attacks, were specific implications into software, large packages of software which have been installed on a global basis to both public administrations and industry environments, and where basically adversaries have been able to put bits and pieces of software code into that product and then change that the way that they wanted to, in order to do eavesdropping, in order to make changes into the environment. We see those types of activities, and not only us, but basically the whole cybersecurity industry see these activities popping up quite significantly, and would like to do something about it. At the same time, we also see the challenge of the developing environment in terms of IoT, basically developments of products and technologies which are being connected as devices onto the internet, and that make it possible to do quite a number of interesting business applications, gathering data from production machines, trying to even manage devices from outside. And while being successful in doing so, that also brings alongside quite a number of challenges. Because in the same way that we've seen software being attacked, we of course also see still the IoT devices being scrutinized by different adversaries, namely could be basically script kiddies, could be students, but could also be very much criminal organizations, even terrorist organizations that are trying to get an attack specifically on a nation state or on an enterprise environment. The result being that companies today are quite significantly being put under stress when they are trying to implement and install these types of devices. And the results of potential vulnerabilities is that not only a company environment and industry might be going down for some time, but at the same time, there could also be an adversarial effect to its environment, to its global supply chain at the same time. So what we are trying to do is organize an activity which is called IIoTSBOM, and which basically stands for Industrial IoT Security Bill of Materials, and is a derivative of the software bill of materials that has been conceived over the last decade in the US by the NTIA, which is an agency of the US Commerce Organization and public authorities, and is now being transformed in part of CISAS, so the Cybersecurity Information and Security Architecture Agency, and therefore also being supported by the Biden administration, so the US government, in ensuring that more is being done on supply chain security by implementing software bill of materials. So that has been for us also a strong driver to look into what it is that we can do and need to do on the European level, but specifically also in Belgium and in Flanders. And we as an association of IT security companies see that there's real need in helping not only device manufacturers, both machinery as well as IT manufacturers, but also the end users in terms of understanding the way that they need to go about on doing that. So we would like, over the course of the next couple of months and years, to help those end-user organizations demanding from their suppliers about SBOMs, software bill of materials, and basically also asking them to be more transparent about the software and the hardware that they're providing. And we're not going to do that alone. We're going to do that together with our partners from the US, and specifically trying to ensure that we can ensure that we don't have adversarial effects of things happening, such as SolarWinds from about a year ago, where there's been a major impact, of course, in both public and private organizations, and where we can see that there are still ripple effects of SolarWinds cases happening today, and where we still see the same adversaries utilizing similar techniques in trying to get into large packages of software. And at the same time, we also see that there's quite a lot of interest in IoT security vulnerabilities popping up. So what we are aiming for, not only today, but also in the next coming months and years, is to make sure that there is a widespread of understanding what, in this case, potential vulnerabilities can mean, and how we can actually try to overcome them by implementing software bill of materials. So how do we plan to do that? We plan to organize with the activities of IIoTSBOM. We plan to implement a number of activities that support that mechanism. And we listed out about 20 of those. We want to get companies started, both end users as well as suppliers of devices, by informing, by creating awareness about the fact that there is such a thing like software bill of materials, but by also helping you as companies, both end users as well as producers, in developing those software bill of materials. In addition, what we aim to do is making sure that we can provide you with use cases, even business cases, to understand why this is useful and how to implement those. And we're going to give you a number of examples on those activities. And we're actually going to do that already this afternoon, thanks to a couple of speakers that we've invited to participate in this afternoon session. On the one hand side, we'll be talking about the broader aspect of cybersecurity within an industrial context. Then we'll be talking a little bit more about the relationship that we have with CISA, and then specifically also their concept of software bill of materials. And then finally, we'll be talking together with our partners from Rumbit about some of the challenges that they are facing in developing their products and technologies, and the challenges that they're facing specifically in cybersecurity those. And then the very final one will be some examples on security bill of materials, thanks to Sibellum, a company that has been working on this already for quite a number of years, has been very successful in implementing those software bill of materials for their automotive and other industry vendors. And so we'll be also giving you some further insights in the next couple of months and years on how to explicitly implement them, and where there's differences in approaches, going from and ranging from both technologies such as SPDX up until open source components such as CycloneDX, or then more from a method perspective, thanks to open chain specifications. That's just some examples. So that's what we aim to do in the next couple of years, in any case, thanks to this IIoTSBOM project that we are kicking off today. So thanks for joining in, and also thanks for your interest. And I hope to be able to guide you through today and in the next coming months, together with our partners from both Flanders Make, which is much more oriented towards the industry, which is planning also to set up by the end of next year an industrial proof of concept, whereby the IIoTSBOMs and SBOMs are integrated. And also thanks to our partner from KU Leuven-Kozik, who are our core cybersecurity experts, and will be focusing much more into the development of a vulnerability database, but also helping out on better understanding what some of those challenges are in the development of those platforms. And then, of course, not to forget our fundamental partner, which is the Flemish Agency for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, VLAIO, which is financially supporting us in organizing this. Our main mission is by the end of the 3 years, but of course with intermediate steps, to make sure that SBOMs are being utilized by both end user companies and industry companies. And so we will do our best efforts in ensuring that that will happen. This event is made possible also thanks to a partner, Van Rooij Automation, who's also participating in the user group that we just had a first discussion with before, and where we initially intended to have our hybrid kickoff event. But thanks to the current situation, we've postponed that for a couple of months. But we're actually grateful to have Van Rooij to participate in both user group and also to host us. And so Van Rooij also being a very renowned and expert into the deployment of cybersecurity within industrial automation. Grateful of having them here also participating. So Hans, we can see that that you're here.
Yes.
Thanks for joining in, and I'm happy to hand over the floor to you to help us understanding a little bit of the challenges that you can see from your end into the operations within these companies.
Yes. Okay. I think I can share some screens here.
Yes, and you're also welcome, of course, to share your video if you can, if you like.